Hello, beautiful Earth Tribe. Welcome back to my channel, Sky Above, Earth Below. This is Renee, and I'm back with another message. And before I get into the topic today, I just wanted to send a shout out to someone who recently commented, the Prophet. The comment aside, there was a question of whether or not I was a robot. So I just wanted to allay any fears that no, indeed, I am a human. I am right here. And hello, everyone. So thank you so much for questioning that, because this matters, and it's really just too bad that we have to be questioning that in the first place. However, I appreciate you bringing that to my awareness, and I don't want there to be any question of whether or not it's a real person behind the screen here. At some point, one day, I may show my face. But for now, this is the way it is, okay? Okay, the other thing I wanted to say was that if you've been around watching my videos and you're not yet subscribed, you haven't been liking, no comments or anything like that, I just wanted to put out a request to do that, okay? It really does help the algorithm. It helps my channel grow. It helps me to attract other viewers. And if you appreciate what I do, please support the channel and please support others who you also value. There's a lot of people putting out content, and for those who you truly value, it really does make a difference when you support them. Okay, and if you're able to donate, and there is no donation too small, or you're able to purchase a service that I offer, that is of course also very helpful. Okay, so today's topic is about truth. I have so many things to say about this. I'll probably make another video at some point. And because this is my second time recording this video, I just decided to make some notes so that I could keep this a little shorter, okay? So in regards to truth, there could be a lot of perhaps combativeness in regards to truth. This we can see in the legal system. This we can see in relationships that we may be in, okay, no matter what kind of relationship that is. Truth is something that affects our lives like on a daily basis. And whether or not we are living in our truth or expressing our truth, and whether or not people are being truthful with us, this is something that we're interacting with. It's dynamic. It's something that we may experience with one person and not another, okay? It may even be something we experience within ourselves, this push and pull of whether or not to be honest with ourselves, or whether or not we're even aware if we're being honest with ourselves. So truth is a big deal. It's also the way of the universe, and I have some things to say about that. Okay, so I want to talk about truth in regards to spiritual law, in regards to God, Spirit, Creator, the universe. We talk about vibration and God being a vibration. God is many things to many people. However, this aspect of vibration is really important here. And some of you may have seen Dr. Hawkins' map of consciousness in regards to the vibration of our emotions. And love and truth, things like this being of the highest vibrations. We often hear spiritual people talking about how love is the highest vibration. And while that is true in some ways, we need to be discerning about how we are talking about love being the highest vibration. Because first of all, that is a limited 3D human perception. Okay, we don't know whether or not love is the highest vibration, but from our perspective and living in a dense reality, love is something that we can feel. And those of us who've had near-death experiences or who just operate in the vibration of love, those of us can imagine that feeling. And sometimes that feeling feels like bliss. Another way this might feel is like oneness, okay? Being one with the world, being one with human consciousness, being one with the universe, knowing that we are part of something much larger than ourselves. Okay, this isn't going to resonate for people who have large, unbalanced egos. This is for people who are on the path of growth, who have experienced an ego death, or who had some sort of eye-opening, spiritually transformative experience, which often coincides with an ego death. But anyway, in regards to love being the highest vibration, I'm going to just challenge people's perceptions about this a little bit because, in the big picture, and we've heard people say love is all there is. While this is true from a oneness perspective, okay, or from a Christ consciousness perspective, same thing. I'm talking about the same thing. Love is also not possible without truth. Okay? There has to be truth in order to actually have love. Because people can talk out the side of their mouth all day about how they love you and it not be true. Okay? People can behave in certain ways in society that makes them look as if they have love for humanity, love for animals, love for Mother Earth. And then they go home and they behave in ways that are incongruous to what they're putting out. Okay, these are falsehoods. So, love aside, if there is no truth, we are living in illusion, which is not love. And now we've established that truth is the highest vibration. Okay, in regards to truth, we can look at truth as being something very concrete, like something is true or it isn't. Okay, but how do we know? Okay, we have a court of law, which is established to detect truth. Okay, I'm not going to comment about how effective that is, but it's the best we have here in the physical world, right? It is what we have to work with. The courts of law use physical world tangible evidence in order to, create a case, in order to figure out whether or not something is true or not. It's how we put away people who've done terrible things, by establishing truth. And so it's really important for us to be able to discern truth. And that happens differently in the physical world versus the spiritual realm. And because human beings have lost touch with their spiritual natures, and because our physical world reflects that, we do not use our spiritual gifts in order to establish truth. And it will be for another video that I may talk about why we should be using our spiritual gifts to establish truth. But that's for another time. But I just want to say that when it comes down to establishing truth here on earth in the physical world, it is really important to, come up with the tangible, concrete evidence possible. But it's also important to see things from the highest perspective possible. What is the big picture? How did this all take place? How many dots are there in this connect the dot picture? All right, and if we raise ourselves a little higher even, we can start to see how people are connected, situations. We can start to see this sort of orchestra that has created this song, this vibration, this composition. And I'm being facetious here with comparing it to something so beautiful. But the reason I'm doing that is because as we raise ourselves higher and higher and see the bigger picture and see how everything is connected, we become closer to God. We can start to see from high above. And not only that, but each individual person, place, situation has its own truth. So I'm sure many of you have seen that funny meme quote thing from God that says, "I saw that." Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Like, you could be all day thinking that nobody sees what you're doing, but God saw it. Okay? The universe saw it. You are being observed. Because the truth is that when someone does something in the dark, behind the scenes, behind closed doors, and they think they're not being watched, it doesn't mean that what they did didn't happen. Okay? So there is truth that is not based on human observation. It's based on the observation of the universe. It's based on being able to see things clearly from above about what actually took place. And we can see this concept in our own world through stories, through mythologies, through religious and spiritual beliefs. Okay, every Christmas season when Santa Claus comes, or just before, okay, parents are telling their kids, have you been good this year? Santa sees everything. So this is the concept here. And this is a mirrored story about what God sees. Now, whether or not you participate in Santa for Christmas or whether or not you participate in Christmas in general, that's not what I'm talking about, okay? I'm addressing this as something that happens in our society and in our culture where Santa is used as a form of comparison to God. Okay, because God sees all. God knows if you've been naughty or nice. God has a naughty and nice list. So, and I'm speaking in broad terms here because everyone has their own beliefs about what God is. But in terms of how I'm speaking of the all that is, okay? The highest vibration, the creator, okay? Other aspects that we see in stories have to do with things that have higher perspectives. Birds, for example. Hugin and Munin in Norse mythology, Norse religion. These are bird spirits which monitor humanity and report back to Odin, who is the All-Father. Okay? Humans have seen birds as having this higher perspective, this godlike perspective, and also being a messenger spirit. Okay, there are other cultures which view the eagle as having this all-knowing sight, as having this all-knowing eye, this ability to see everything. And so why would we care? Okay, why would it matter? Why would anybody find it important to see from a higher perspective when we can see something that's tangible right in front of our eyes? And that is because truth is mixed with illusion. Truth is mixed with what happens when we don't see something. And it's up to us to be able to discern truth. And when we have people in this world who don't want you to see the truth, then we have people manipulating and creating illusions. Okay, and for some of them, delusions. But that's a little further. Okay, so there is a need to see from a higher perspective. And although we may have a limited view as humans, there are other representations in our physical world, such as birds, who do have a higher perspective and who are looked at symbolically as having this all-seeing eye. And the all-seeing eye being equated with what God sees. If the truth of things were solely based on what we could observe physically with our eyeballs, then this higher perspective wouldn't matter. But the fact is that it does. And so we look to messenger spirits, we look to birds, we look to God to see from a higher perspective. Humans not only have a need to see from a higher perspective, but also a motivation to. Because if we're not observing actual truth, which is something we may not be able to see with our human eyes, then we could possibly be living in illusion. We could be being misled. There could be things happening that we don't know about, that perhaps someone or multiple people would like to hide, And this can be as localized as your own family, your own friend group, or it can be expanded to your society, your culture, your church. Okay? What people want you to see, you will not get the truth from those who aim to deceive. So, humans have a need and a motivation to seek the truth. And sometimes, and I would argue a lot of times, when someone is seeking truth, this can be a very lonely path, because not only might there be people wanting to deceive you or others, but there might also be people who don't want to make themselves stand out for being a truth teller or for seeking the truth. Okay, so there might be other people with motivations to not only keep themselves quiet, but also to keep you quiet. So then it becomes this journey of truth seeking alone. Okay, and it therefore becomes your truth. And there can be tit for tat. What is your truth? What is their truth? What is truth? When in reality, truth stems from authenticity, from being able to discern. Okay, even if you don't have physical observation of something, even if you might not have tangible evidence, we know that things can happen even if we don't see them happening. So, having this truth, finding this truth, lies in your ability to see clearly. This is why we have the word clairvoyant. It means clear seeing. Because this is information that you can only get from the universe, from spirit, and it's a vibration. You have to line up with it in order to access it. Now, whether or not people believe you, that's another story. But if you are seeking truth and you are finding the truth from the highest perspective possible, then you don't need validation on this low-level, dense earth realm. Okay, another way to detect truth is whether or not it can be comfortably questioned. Okay, because the truth doesn't mind being questioned, doesn't mind sharing. The truth values itself. The truth knows that it's important. And this is where I get to the point that truth is God. It is the all-seeing eye. Okay, you can't hide anything from the all-seeing, the all-knowing. It just is what it is. And regardless of whether or not muggles believe you, it doesn't take away from the fact that the truth is the truth. So, questioning, okay? The truth doesn't mind to be questioned. A lie does. And not only am I speaking of truth in regards to a vibration, in regards to being the universe, God, source, creator, it is also a vibration within you. So when we come to our own truth, and like I said earlier, it often becomes your truth because there are multiple reasons why other people don't want you sharing your truth. Your truth is also a vibration, because what you're doing is you're aligning yourself with source. You're aligning yourself with that higher vibration of all-knowing truth. So the truth emanates from your spirit, which is why if you question it, it's not going to mind, because the truth wants the truth. The truth expresses itself only in truth. so it doesn't mind the truth. But yet, your truth doesn't matter if you're not expressing it. Because silence can be a form of consent. And when you're not expressing your truth when it really matters, that silence can be a form of allowing non-truth. So it's really important that we express our truth. Okay, and I'm just going to compare truth with how God, the universe, deals with truth versus how we deal with truth here. Oftentimes we hear about Judgment Day, or we hear about a life review. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because when our soul leaves this physical plane, we are released to experience the truth of our lives. This is for the purpose of soul growth. This is so that you can learn from all of your experiences. And what you weren't able to learn from or integrate during your physical life, you do so in your non-physical existence. And I could go on about this being an earth school and us, reincarnating here to grow our souls and things like that. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now, but just know that that's kind of where that leads. But God, Source, Creator, has a way of dealing with truth when we leave this physical plane. Our opportunity to deal with truth has to do with our day-to-day living. We get the opportunity to address truth in every single interaction we have with someone or within our environments throughout our day, because we may or may not be operating in our own truth, in our own integrity, and other people may or may not as well. So we get all of these opportunities to align with truth. Okay, vibrationally, we're going to be able to detect truth by aligning with it, by seeking it, by asking our Creator to show us the truth. But in order to actually see things clearly, you have to be a vibrational match to it. And that is why I spoke of aligning with truth, because truth is the vibration of God. And when you are aligned with God, and I'm saying truth, you are protected. Okay, the universe responds to your vibration. In your truth, it's not just what you learn from the universe. It's not just your downloads. You actually need to be authentic about it. You need to know who you are. You need to be truthful about who you are, because your vibration of authenticity or inauthenticity matters when you're trying to align with the truth. So you have to be not only aligning with the truth, but you also have to be true about yourself. You have to know who you are and be who you are. Because if you don't, you are deluding yourself. Which brings me to the last thing I wanted to address. And that is that if we don't know ourselves, if we are not acting within our own integrity, our own sense of self, being who we are inside and out, okay? Sometimes that is an indication of past trauma, inner wounds, childhood wounds, okay? And sometimes it is because we don't want to face the truth, okay? We would rather be avoidant. We would rather accept a lie than to face the truth. And this is where illusion and delusion comes in. And the difference is your awareness. So illusions happen with full awareness. It's a manipulation. It's a bending of reality. And this could look like, lies, gossip, slandering, an altering of facts. Okay, any sort of manipulation that gets others to see things differently than they are. That is illusion. That is created out of manipulation. Delusion is when you believe your own lie. This can often stem from trauma, from the consequences that may come. This can happen from a splitting, okay? People talk about this both in psychological terms and in spiritual terms. It's basically a fragmentation of your spirit, or in 3D terms, they would call this a personality, where you dissociate from part of it. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, so I'm just using sort of my own level of understanding to describe this. But spiritually, this would look like soul fragmentation, where you leave a part of yourself in a place that gets buried in your subconscious mind, where it no longer becomes conscious, where you are operating from a place of unawareness. Okay, so that's what I meant by the difference between illusion and delusion being a difference in your awareness, because delusion is literally when you believe something that isn't true and you don't know that it's not true. Illusion is purposeful and a person is aware when they're causing it. Delusion is a mind frame that I wouldn't wish on anyone, okay? Because you're literally operating from a place of something that isn't real and you don't even know it. So all this to say is that we need to be operating from a place of truth, from a place of authenticity in order to align with truth, from a place of knowing ourselves in order to align with our authenticity, in order to align with truth. I hope I'm explaining this in a way that is accessible for people to understand. Okay, so I just want to leave this message with this card here. It says, the moment I realign with love, clear direction is presented to me. And so this is what I was talking about in regards to alignment with what the truth is. Yes, love is like oneness, okay? Love is the truth. But we can't have love without truth. So I'm going to insert the word truth here. The moment I realign with truth, clear direction is presented to me. So there needs to be truth brought down from the non-physical into the physical, and that happens through you. Okay, it happens with your alignment, and there are steps to alignment, which I just spoke of. You needing to know yourself, you needing to be yourself, you needing to be authentic. You're needing to access and seek the truth, and then needing to express it in some way so that it can become tangible in our world. Okay, and it is only then that we can be presented with the truth from the universe in order to get clear guidance, clear direction, in order to see clearly, in order to know what the hell we're doing, right? Those of us who are on our path of purpose or who are seeking that purpose, your purpose is aligned with your truth. Okay, so I think I'll leave it there. If you've hung out with me for this long, I just want to thank you for spending this time with me, for entertaining my thoughts about this topic. If you have any thoughts that you'd like to post in the comment section, go ahead and do so. I may or may not respond, but I am definitely interested in what you think. Okay, what is your experience with truth? What do you find to be helpful in seeking truth? How do you stand in your power in order to express your truth? Okay, I'd love to know all these things in the comments. And other than that, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for spending time with me, my beautiful Earth Tribe. I'm sending you all grounding energy and love. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at my next video.